Foreign companies are leaving one after another. Some people say it doesn't concern them, while others are clapping and cheering. The truth is, a lot of people's thinning wallets have a lot to do with the anger they're throwing around online. If you're not worried about losing your job, having your salary cut, or facing an economic collapse, then keep on shouting online, calling for Americans, Japanese, and Europeans to leave. Hopefully Russia, North Korea, and our African brothers can bring their money and technology to save China. In the last 2 years, a whole bunch of foreign companies have packed up and left. We've totally defeated capitalism, and in this case, we've definitely won. These foreign companies are pretty much gone. Now it's time for Chinese businesses to take the spotlight. The future? It's looking super bright. These are two completely different opinions from Chinese netizens regarding the departure of foreign investment from China. So, is foreign investment really leaving China faster? What are the deeper reasons behind this? Today, let's take a look at some analysis and data. But before we do, we would like to invite you to subscribe. Your support is our greatest motivation and allows us to bring you more valuable content. Now, moving on. First, here's some key data. On February 17th, China's State Administration of Foreign Exchange released figures showing that in 2024, China experienced a net outflow of 168.4 billion in foreign direct investment (FDI), the largest capital outflow since records began in 1990. At the same time, foreign investment flowing into China dropped to just 4.5 billion, the lowest in 33 years. This is only about 1% of the 344 billion in foreign investment China received in 2021. In other words, foreign direct investment in China has fallen by 99% over the past 3 years. Interestingly, Chinese companies' investments abroad actually surpassed the net outflow of foreign investments. According to the data, last year Chinese investors invested a total of 172.8 billion overseas. The economic data released by China also shows that Shanghai, which has long been the economic leader in the country, has seen its GDP fall to 11th place nationwide. In the past, Shanghai's GDP was always the highest among China's over 300 cities. But in recent years, things have changed a lot. With more foreign businesses leaving Shanghai, the city's economy is no longer what it used to be. Let's take a look at a video uploaded by a local Shanghai resident showing the current situation. The foreigner street in Shanghai used to be bright with lights and packed with people. But now all the foreigners have left and there isn't a single one to be seen. Today is the weekend and just look at the foreigner street on a Saturday night. There's nobody. I came to the Shanghai IFC Mall to have a look. The economy in Shanghai is really struggling, so I wanted to see if there were many people. But there are hardly any people here now. The economy in Shanghai is bad. No one is spending money anymore. It feels like a countryside town with no one around. The salespeople are just standing by the doors, waiting for customers. It's strange when you see several salespeople just standing by one counter, waiting. This is a newly opened mall in Shanghai, and it's a common sight in modern malls across China. Completely empty. Look, this is the first floor. And now let's check the floor below. The general situation is one of emptiness and decline. 10 years ago, Zhangsheng Century Mall in Shanghai's Shinshuang area was one of the top shopping centers in the city. It had the best location, size, traffic, nearby amenities, and foot traffic. Many big companies had stores here. Whether you were on the ground floor or the top floor, it was always crowded and full of energy. This used to be a Carrefour mall, but now it's completely empty with the doors shut tight. Big malls create a kind of ecosystem. As long as the mall stays open, the smaller shops around it will also do well. But when a big mall shuts down, all the small shops on that floor are done for. This is always the case. It's a complete failure. This is the basement level of Zhangsheng. It used to be packed with restaurants, dessert shops, clothing stores, and more. Now that these shops have closed, just think of how many people have lost their jobs. It's really sad to see this happening. Today, we're at Qipu, the largest clothing wholesale market in the Yangtze River Delta in Shanghai. It's 9 a.m. and there's no one on Qipu Road. In the past, this place was packed with people and it was hard to even walk. We went to the market and finally saw one hardworking shop owner pulling bags on her own. A few years ago, this area was filled with buses unloading goods, but now it's already past 9 a.m. and there are only 2 vehicles here. Many wholesalers with no other choice have turned to live streaming with just their phones. The whole market feels quiet and the few workers here seem relaxed and comfortable. I used to think of Shanghai as fast-paced and full of energy, but now with everything so quiet, it makes me wonder if I could just sit back and enjoy tea like they do in Chengdu. The bridge between Xinwan and Shinqipu used to be so crowded that people almost got pushed off. Even beggars used to make good money here, but now there are no beggars around. This small path used to be full of buses, but now there's not a single one. Let me show you this. This is Shujiahui in Shanghai. It's 9 p.m. right now. Do you remember what Xinjiahui used to be like? Just 2 years ago, on weekends, it was so crowded you could hardly move. The overpass was packed with people, and even during weekdays, it was always full of people. There were tourists visiting and locals working in Shanghai. There were people everywhere. Rent used to be at least a few million RMB here, but now, even if you gave it away for free, I don't think anyone would want to open a store. The only shops left are big brands, and I guess they're just holding on. So, by the end of 2024, which big foreign companies have pulled out of China? According to a report from China's eNet, here are some of the major companies that have left, and there are even more small and medium-sized businesses that have pulled out as well. 2013 to 2018. Panasonic from Japan closed its Shanghai factory. Nikon, a major camera manufacturer from Japan, shut down its Chinese subsidiary. Suzuki from Japan sold all its shares in Chenghe Suzuki and Chang'an Suzuki. 2019. Samsung Electronics from South Korea closed its Huizhou factory, moving production to countries like Vietnam and India. Ricoh, an office equipment company from Japan, moved its copier production line from China to Thailand. Carrefour, a large retail group from France, sold its entire business in China and pulled out. 2020. Tesco, a supermarket chain from the United Kingdom, completely left the Chinese market. Philips from the Netherlands exited the Chinese home appliance market. Old Navy, a popular clothing retailer from the US, left China. 2021. Google from the US withdrew its services from mainland China. Yahoo from the US stopped offering its products and services in China. Toshiba from Japan closed its factory in Dalian, shifting production to Vietnam and Japan. 2022. Apple from the US began assembling the iPhone 14 in India. Canon from Japan shut its Zhuhai factory and moved production back to Japan. Lotte from South Korea closed its China headquarters and increased investment in Southeast Asia. 2023. Sony from Japan moved its factories to Thailand. Nvidia from the US, the world's largest AI chip company, left China. Amazon from the US exited the Chinese market. Gallup from the US, a global polling company, also left China. 2024. Honda from Japan shut down its second joint venture factory in Wuhan, laying off 2,500 workers. IBM from the US announced the layoff of over 1,000 workers and closed its research and development departments. Liebherr from Switzerland announced it would close its concrete business factory in Suzhou. Bridgestone from Japan, the largest tire manufacturer, closed its factory in Shenyang, laying off over 1,000 employees. A mainland blogger posted a video saying sadly, an era has ended. Today, February 29, 2024, the famous tire company Bridgestone has closed its last factory in China, the Shenyang factory. This means another foreign tire company is leaving China. The reason for their departure is the poor performance of the commercial tire market. The 1,200 employees at the factory are now facing job loss. Thankfully, the compensation packages from foreign companies are relatively high, with some workers receiving up to 500,000 RMB or 1 million RMB for couples working together. Honestly, foreign companies tend to offer better benefits, pay, and job security compared to domestic companies. With Bridgestone leaving, it signals the end of an era for steel-belted tires. This will have a significant impact on the tire industry as a whole. It's truly a shame to see this era come to an end. How many foreign companies have left Shanghai? On August 9, 2024, data from Beijing SAIC Digital Technology Company Limited showed that between January and June 2020 alone, 12,436 foreign companies left Shanghai. That means in just 6 months, over 12,000 companies withdrew from the city. The districts of Pudong and Minhang saw the most foreign companies leaving. On December 6, 2024, the Japanese company Yakult made the surprising announcement that it would close its factory in Shanghai, where it produces its popular probiotic drink. More than 3,000 employees will be laid off. This well-known Japanese company, which has been in Shanghai for 20 years, is now closing its doors. The Yakult factory has been open for public tours since it first opened, and it's been a childhood memory for many kids. So, what are the deeper reasons behind the accelerated withdrawal of foreign investment from China? Let's listen to the expert analysis. American economist Davy J. Wong identifies 3 main reasons. The main reasons for foreign companies leaving China are: first, the rising geopolitical risks, especially the growing tensions between the US and China. European and American companies are concerned that their investments in China could be affected by this. Second, the business environment has gotten much worse. The government's control over private companies, especially foreign businesses, has increased and become more complicated. A key example is the 2023 anti-espionage law, which targets foreign companies. This has led to more uncertainty and political pressure. Many multinational companies are facing inspections, fines, and issues like being unable to transfer their money out of China. The third factor is the rapid decline in profit margins. For businesses that focus on profit, production costs are rising. Non-commercial sectors like law firms and economic research companies are facing more interference from the government, which has led to a sharp drop in their profit margins. The final factor is exchange rate risk. With growing currency instability, foreign companies are concerned that they won't be able to convert their investments into US dollars or euros in the future. On January 20th, after Donald Trump became president, he imposed tariffs on all Chinese goods. In response, China took countermeasures, including reopening antitrust investigations into American companies like Google and Nvidia and imposing 10 to 15% tariffs on American products like energy, machinery, and vehicles. Trump's trade war during his first term pushed many foreign and Chinese companies to move their factories out of China. After the pandemic, China's economic recovery has been slow. The government has been tightening its controls, but it's also offering incentives to attract foreign investment. On February 10th, Chinese Premier Li Qiang approved the 2025 Foreign Investment Stabilization Action Plan. However, with Trump returning to the White House and continuing to implement tariffs, the trend of foreign companies leaving China has only accelerated. Let's take a look at some expert analysis. The main reasons why domestic companies are moving capital out of the country are first, the slowing economy and pessimistic business outlook. The ongoing real estate crisis has also caused a drop in consumer confidence. Companies are worried about a lack of demand in the market, so they are cutting domestic investments and shifting their funds overseas. This is also tied to the real estate crisis, as many businesses are looking for safer investment options. A lot of capital is leaving the country and flowing into overseas real estate markets through methods like underground banks and fake trades. Foreign direct investment, right now, there's a big difference between domestic and international data, but one trend is very clear. From the peak of 2021, the numbers have dropped quickly by 2024. This suggests that foreign investors are quite pessimistic about the future of China's processing trade and export sectors. Looking back 3 years ago, many foreign companies pulled their capital out of China due to the pandemic. By 2022 and 2023, after the pandemic was under control, foreign investment didn't return. By this point, China had already started to warn that more foreign businesses were leaving. Why did the Chinese government wait until 2025 to introduce a series of measures to boost the private economy and open the market? The goal is to attract foreign investment again. A major factor is the Trump 2.0 trade war. In response to the possible economic downturn caused by the trade war, the Chinese government started actively working to bring in more foreign investment. For regular manufacturing, some Chinese companies can replace foreign companies. However, in the service sector, China still has many barriers to foreign investment. In high-tech industries, export controls on technology make it unlikely for foreign investment to flow into China. So, the trend of foreign capital leaving is likely to continue for a long time. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with your friends. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.